To many people, Ethiopian cuisine is very unique, very different. The way you eat, how you use your hand, and also the food. You use the bread called injera to eat it with. The food is served in such a way that you have the stew on a plate, and then you have the bread on the side, which you use the bread to scoop the stew with. So there's no knife and forks here. You have all traditional Ethiopian cuisine with either meat or vegetable dishes, which are either spicy or not spicy. Mainly on the spices, we use very common ones: chili pepper, garlic, ginger, salt, and pepper. And most of the customers we have, they tell us that our food is addictive. It's a good sign for us.
So Sarah, there are actually several Ethiopian restaurants in the city of Chicago. Tell us why you chose this particular one.
Well, it's a neighborhood joint for us. It's in the area, and you know, we happened upon it one time a couple of years ago and just loved it so much that we really honestly haven't expanded to other Ethiopian restaurants in the city because we have no need to. We can walk there, and the food is consistently, and has been for years, delicious. The service used to be awful and has gotten so much better. It's gotten much, much better over the years. But the food is always, and it's always such a great place to go because it's such an interactive meal. It's such a sensual meal.
I think it's safe to say that most people are probably not familiar with Ethiopian food. So tell us a little bit about what's involved.
Well, it's everything's served communally on a large platter in the center, unless you have someone who's really picky and wants something on the side. And it's all the food is sort of almost stew style, served on top of injera bread, which is like a leavened bread that's nothing like we have.
Yeah, it's a sour.
It's very sour.
Bread.
And you have to be with people who aren't fussy, and that's what I love about it, is that you can't have an attitude there because you're going to be touching everybody else's food, and you have to trust those people. And
no phobias.
No phobias. you can't be uptight if you and enjoy a food there. I don't think, you know.
It was a very fun, interactive meal, though. It was definitely. I mean, even if you go to a regular restaurant, and you're like, hey, can I have a bite of that?
Right.
You always feel a little bit, okay, just one bite.
Right.
But this was, you literally could have been like, oh, I want to try that again, and it was. Having the communal style plate, you just felt so inclined to be like, oh, I love that. Oh, I'm going to try a little bit more. You just felt more open to trying more of the things you really loved.
Well, so the idea, there's no silverware, which I think for a lot of people can be kind of disarming when you walk into a place and you don't expect that. I mean, I've never been there and seen anybody ask for a fork or something, which would be horrifying.
But they are available for those that...
I don't know. I'm assuming they are. There's got to be a fork in the restaurant.
You have to bring your own fork?
If I was with that person, I'd be horrified.
Well, let me tell you, I actually felt like they brought me a fork, and I thought, what do I look like? I can't handle? I said, do I look like I can't handle the injera by myself? Yeah, but I didn't use it.
Funny.
I swear, and actually I made sure I put it like in the center of the table, so they saw I didn't use it.
I've never seen a fork there before.
Yeah, they exist there, but I didn't use it.
Were you wearing a suit?
No. Sweater.
Interesting.
Oh, yeah.
Does it matter? Like, I'm wearing a suit?
I don't know.
Really corporate they think I couldn't handle it?
That's so weird. That's the weirdest thing I've ever heard.
Excuse me, but you had suit and tie, you get a fork.
But I kind of felt like, oh, yeah? I didn't need to do that.
That's really weird. Wow.
Well, it seems to me that Ethiopian food is basically into three categories. You have the wats, which are the red stew with red pepper, and sort of the spicier version. And then you have the alicha, which is the green stew, which is much more mild. And then you have the tibs, which is sort of the dry hash style, almost like a stir fry. Exactly. It's like a drier. It's not so stew-like. David, what were the items that you had?
Well, I thought, for someone who was unfamiliar with Ethiopian food, that I would do a taste of, and I did a taste of, and I did beef and chicken and lamb sampler, and the lamb was definitely my favorite. It was the milder as you were going through the list. Exactly. The other ones were a little too spicy for my taste, but I kind of focused on the lamb, and the spinach and the onion and garlic was very good as well. I was looking for a little bit more guidance for a guy who's never been there before.
Too.
Yeah.
Same thing. We kept wanting the story. Like, it was one of those places that we were sitting down, captive audience.
Right.
We read the menu, but we wanted to bring it to life with the personality. And that's kind of the only thing I thought
of personality.
felt short a little bit.
And I think because it's a neighborhood place,
Yeah.
there's so many probably regulars that go in, they
Right.
probably don't feel like they have to go through the whole
Well,
thing.
Sise Abiba, who's the owner of Ethiopian Diamond, said he actually gets mostly Ethiopian customers.
Yeah.
And
I
so,
always see it's a good sign.
Yeah,
Yes.
I agree.
that is a great sign.
I know.
If you turn around, you're the only indigenous there.
Something's got to be going right. Yeah.
I go with my girlfriend a lot. That's where we go when we go out for dinner. And we usually get the yemsterwat and then the kikalicha and the danish usually, which is the potatoes. The yemsterwat is my favorite thing.
That's the lentil.
That's the red lentils that's spicy. I have to get that
we have that.
every
It's so
time.
good.
I love it.
We went there with a group of 4, and loving spicy food, my sister and I especially, had the wat. We had lamb and shrimp wat, and then we had the domo, and then we had the lentils as well. And then, of course, all the little side vegetarian dishes. I think it was cabbage, steamed cabbage, and spinach. It was just excellent.
What do we drink with Ethiopian food?
Beer.
David, what'd you have?
I had a honey wine, which was on the
yeah,
menu,
so that's
and
Oh, the veg.
it was really well for the spicy part, because I felt a lot of it was very spicy, and I'm not a really spicy kind of guy. Is that the wine really just kind of softened that blow for me a little bit?
Traditionally, it's when sommeliers pair spicy food with wine, we actually will take a wine that has a little bit of sweetness to it. Like with Indian food, we'll recommend Gewürztraminer or Riesling or something with a little bit of residual sugar to it. Because you said the water didn't really work.
Yeah, the water. You're not supposed to really do water, but I was like, "Whoa, bring on the water here!" But
Well, Miss Sarah, you picked the Ethiopian Diamond. Give us your summary.
Well, I would say Ethiopian is a great place to take your friends and family for a really nice, intimate, interactive, and sensual, tasty experience.
David?
it was a lot of fun. It's not exactly my taste; a little too spicy for me. I wish I got a little bit more explanation on the front end, but I mean, the overall experience was very good.
Jam?
The one thing I wish we would have had a little bit more of was that history and the explanation behind it. I think it could have just added just a little bit more to the specialness of the meal. But overall, it was great.
All right. Well, you can have the authentic African cuisine at Ethiopian Diamond, 6120 North Broadway, 773-338-6100. Open for lunch and dinner every day. Reservations are accepted for parties of 5 or more. And the average tab per person without drinks is $15.